The stream has started streaming. Hello, friends. Well,
Hello.
we're all having a
How
lovely
y'all
Saturday
doing?
morning.
Lovely Saturday morning.
I know I am so far. What about you, Cass?
Yes.
Nice.
Also good.
Good stuff.
I started and finished the book yesterday, so we are in there.
Whoa. I think I started it on Wednesday and then I finished it on Thursday. So I feel like this is a long book to like read that much of in a short period of time.
In a way, yes, but at the same time, it was really weird because like it was so fast paced. So I felt like I was just flying through it.
That's true as well. Yeah.
We're gonna wait a few minutes, let some more people join,
And we'll get into it.
We'll start our chitter chatter.
Well, we're technically chitter chattering right now, so
we'll start our bookish chitter chatter.
This is just nonsense chitter chatter right now.
This is just
Yeah.
Y'all know how it goes.
Yeah, this is usually how it starts out.
Yep. Probably start like 5 to 10 minutes into the stream. We'll actually start discussing Skyward. Is this like your first sci-fi book ever?
See, I'm thinking it is. I feel like I need to look at my Goodreads, but I'm pretty sure this is like the only like proper sci-fi book I've ever read.
Interesting. Because when you were texting me last night saying it was your first sci-fi, I was like, what?
Yeah, like I don't, unless I'm remembering incorrectly, I'm pretty sure this is the only one.
Interesting.
I've picked up sci-fi books, but I've never actually read them. Yeah.
Maybe that's what I was thinking of. Maybe you did like a haul or something where you hauled a sci-fi book.
Well, I was gonna do like a like reading 5 books from my least favorite genre kind of thing, and like it was just gonna be sci-fi, which is gonna be a stretch to call it my least favorite genre because I hadn't read it yet. But I was gonna do that video. I started filming it and then I scrapped it because I didn't want to.
Fair. What books did you pick up for that?
Or well, I was gonna read Skyward. I was gonna read Dune because I thought that would be entertaining for people to watch me read Dune.
Oh, interesting.
Especially as somebody who's never read sci-fi before. And I still might try and read Dune at some point because, like, you know, classic sci-fi, whatever. I was going to read, what was it? Like Light from Uncommon Stars?
Okay.
It was like a newer release. I was going to read something from H.G. Wells for, like, classic sci-fi. And then I was going to read The Moonday Letters, which was like a, I think there's like a bit of a romance in that one.
Interesting.
Kind of like hitting on a bunch of different types.
All sorts, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I still think it's a fun video idea, but can't do it now.
I had a video ideas like similar to that, except for like it wasn't like my least favorite genre, but just like sci-fi books that my dad recommended me because that's like what he reads is sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I have like a bunch of books over there just stacked up, and I've had them there for like 4 or 5 months that I've not touched.
I've been planning to do the sci-fi video for like 5 months or something.
And you mentioned it in other videos where you're like, I've got a video plan.
So if anybody remembers, casually forget that. But I could still do it at some point, but I just don't have the time now.
She's on a grind.
I'm, just always on that grind.
She's got her schedule.
Yeah. Sci-fi is a dad genre. That's so true. Although my dad doesn't like sci-fi.
Really?
He reads horror.
Okay. Yeah, that also kind of checks out, though.
He reads a lot of Stephen King, which is very, like, dad horror.
Interesting. I like sci-fi. I say this so much. Like, I like sci-fi, I just never pick it up. Like, it's not something I reach for. But then when I actually read it, I'm like, wow. Wait, this is pretty good.
That's kind of cool.
We do, I think, is the book we picked for December, is it sci-fi?
I believe it is sci-fi. Let me double check that. Of course, you guys don't know what it is, but we know what it is.
We planned ahead. Since October, we already figured out October, November, and December's book.
Done, sorted.
Done and
Never been
dusted.
so on top of anything in my life.
Except for this week. You've been on top of all your videos. All your video making.
Got that right.
Katie's getting a vacation.
Yeah. Grind never stops until it finally does for 3 days when I'm going to vegetate and do nothing. It's going to be glorious. Right, yeah. The book we picked for December is also sci-fi.
Yay.
So get ready.
For more sci-fi.
For more sci-fi.
Woo! I'm excited. Because I like sci-fi when I'm forced to read it. It's great.
Yeah, I feel like I've kind of unlocked a new genre for me to check out here. So I'm excited.
Not even unlocking. I just like some like video game where you're like
I've leveled up.
Unlocked.
Now I'm gonna start reading sci-fi.
Oh my gosh. I don't think there's any other genre that I want to like unlock because I'm not really a horror girly. I'm reading like a thriller mystery thing like soon.
Yeah,
but
that's different for you.
It's not a genre that I want to read more of, but I just want to read this book.
I don't think there are any genres I really want to. Sorry.
Destin, are you going to read the book club books last minute, though? That's the real question. Always.
Of course.
Always.
What kind of question is that? You guys should know by now.
Rarely been a time where I feel like I'm worse than Katie. Because you read Assassin's Apprentice pretty dang early.
No, it was like 3 days before.
Really? I could have sworn. What's the book that you read like 3 weeks before, and then you couldn't remember anything that went down in it?
Where's my freaking journal? I need to see where is it?
I think Fourth Wing might have been something that I read pretty early, because I read it almost as soon as it had come out, and then we picked it as the book club book.
I need to see here.
Kiss of Deception was the worst for me in terms of like last minute reading.
Oh, it might.
I was reading it, fell asleep, and then woke up and finished reading it before the live.
It might have been Kiss of Deception.
That's what I was thinking, because I think we had polar opposite things with that. Where you had finished it really early and didn't remember anything, and I had just like binged it that very morning.
I know it'll stress me out too much if I leave it until like the day before, but like 2 days before that I can work with.
I try not to. And this one I didn't start like the night. Like I had made a decent chunk, like 300 pages in during the day. So I had like 200 pages to come home and read at night. But I think the worst was actually when I had my Patreon going and I had Babel. And I had to read that all in one day. I procrastinated so hard. I read Babel in one day, nearly entire in one sitting. I stayed up till like 5 a.m., went to bed, woke up at 10 a.m.
I literally cannot imagine reading Babel in one sitting. That sounds awful, frankly.
It was a lot. It felt like a fever dream.
Yeah.
It was wild.
That was like really impressive though, to be honest.
My brain was like mush by the end.
Should we start talking about the book?
Discuss.
All right. First of all, obviously, what did we all rate Skyward?
What did we rate it?
I gave it
star ratings.
I gave it a very high 4-star. I contemplated giving it a 5-star, but I was like, no, it's not quite there. It's like a high 4-star.
I gave it a 3.75. 3, 4.5, or 2.25. Ooh.
Slander.
4.5, 3. Okay. That's pretty decent. That's a lot higher than I think I was expecting. I wasn't expecting so many 4.5s, I'll be honest. Very nice.
Solid 4 stars, yeah. Good stuff.
And then second question, because I love this question. Who's planning on continuing reading the series?
I'm going to. I already bought the second and third books.
I have them on hold from the library right now.
Originally, I was going to just like borrow them from the library and buy them later because I have to like buy them off of Blackwell's. But I was like, you know what? What's a little more money? It'll be fine.
I'll like eventually buy them, but I'm gonna unhaul my US cover and get the UK cover because I love it like so much more. But is the fourth book out yet?
It comes out, I think, later in November.
See, that makes sense when my library did not have it. I was like, where is it? Poppy!
Poppy has joined the live stream because she wants food. Even though I fed her like an hour ago, not even.
What a menace.
Get out! Shoo! She's so annoying.
Okay. We have definitely continuing. Already got the rest from the library.
50-50.
Also will continue. Yeah. Someone DNF'd it at 78%.
Hey, that's
interesting because I feel like that's when it got like really intense.
Yeah,
like,
I really liked the last half of this book. It was really good.
Oh yeah,
but obviously, personal preference and whatnot.
Absolutely.
Not done with the book yet. I love the people that still join the stream even though they haven't finished it yet. Like, you guys, love you guys.
I remember that one person who was like finishing it up like as we did our like 10-minute waiting period, and they're like, yeah, okay, we're good. I love that. See, sometimes y'all are as last minute as us.
Yeah, we're not the only ones that procrastinate. This is a universal experience.
It's the power of the book club. It's great.
Exactly. It was a bit young for me, but it got better towards the end. I think that's fair.
Yes, that is exactly how I felt, especially because I had already well, not already read, but like recently read an Orson Scott Card book, and it's like, I was gonna say high fantasy. It's not high fantasy. It's adult sci-fi.
High sci-fi.
High sci-fi.
My new genre I'm coming up with.
High sci-fi?
Yeah.
And it didn't hit the same. Although I feel like we're going to get into spoilers now. So if you haven't read it and you don't want to be spoiled, see you later. And if you do want to be spoiled, by all means stay. But I was not expecting Brandon Sanderson to like murder as many people as he did in this book.
No, me either. It was brutal. I was like, for a young adult book, they were just dropping left and right.
They honestly were. Like, when I wrote in my notes that like I was surprised that they like killed the two characters, but I'm like, okay, cool. Like, cause the other characters, like, cause them some trauma. I love that. Like, they have to grow through that, and like, but then when they killed Hurl, I was literally like,
no, what? Me too. I sat there, I was like, what? Damn. But my thing with like all the characters dying is like, I don't really think I ever felt sad about any of them. I was kind of just like sort of shocked that it happened, but I didn't really feel connected to any of them. So I was like, peace, bye.
I found that problem too, especially with the two earliest characters, because we had been introduced to so many characters straight off the bat that like it took me time to like get their names and their call signs like oriented in my noggin, because I hate when characters are called by like two different names, and then I'm like, wait, I have to think about this now. Who's who? What's going on? But so when the first two, I was just more like shocked. I wasn't like, oh no. But when Hurl died, I was like, damn, that really sucks for our main character.
See, even when Hurl died, I was just kind of like, bye. Like, I don't know. Peace. Toodles.
Yeah. Sunset read really juvenile other than all the deaths, but I kind of like that because it was so easy to read, and I've been wanting reading some tomes recently.
It was very easy to read.
It was definitely hard in the beginning, especially when like I thought that Brandon Sanderson was trying to set up some like stupid ass romance with Bim, where she was like, he's kind of cute. Oh, his blue hair is kind of cute. And I was like, girl, stop it. Like, that felt very like juvenile, and I was like kind of annoyed. I was like, get that out of here. But for the most part, it was interesting because it didn't feel like a Brandon Sanderson book in terms of writing, because it's like YA, and I've only ever read like his high fantasy novels. But then when it came to like the ending and like that sort of like world building and like plot reveal, I was like, oh, now it feels like a Brandon Sanderson book. Now we're getting into it.
No, I really liked seeing what he did with like a young adult sci-fi, because that's just like the complete opposite from like his adult high fantasy. So I thought that was fun to see the different facets of his writing style.
Absolutely. And it's so crazy too to like have that talent to be talented at writing both.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of like, let's say like YA authors that go into adult fantasy, they haven't been doing so hot. There's a track record of YA authors failing.
I feel like we're just always ragging on like the YA authors moving into like adult, but it's kind of true sometimes.
So for him to kind of, he's written like a few other like YA series as well that have been well received.
I've heard his other YA series isn't very good.
Does he have? I thought he had 3.
Well, I mean, there's one other that I can think of right now. Maybe there's more. I'm not sure. But there's one that I know people don't really love. I don't remember what it's called, though.
I know what the covers look like because my sister had just shown me that the other day. Because she's like, no, I've read Brandon Sanderson. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. And then she showed me that book, and I was like, that doesn't count.
Could you imagine she busts out like all 4 of the Stormlight Archive books? She's like, yeah, I read these like 3 years ago.
I'll be shocked if she had all 4, considering the 4th one's not even out.
Yeah, it is.
November something. Expected publication is November 21st.
Stormlight.
Oh, I thought you said Skyward. Oh my god.
I was like, are you... I see we have some Mbot lovers in the chat. Me too.
He carried this book.
He really did. Him. I think Brandon Sanderson writes like weird little side animal character things really well, because Mbot reminded me a lot of the Talking Sword.
Oh my gosh.
He also reminds me, I don't know if anybody's read Edge Dancer. It's like one of the Stormlight novellas. He reminds me of Pattern, like the way that he talks, which is like one of the spren that like one of the characters has. Like very same vibes, different font.
Freaking loved Mbot.
Me too.
I think that's what really got me into the story, where I was finally enjoying it, was like the introduction of Mbot.
It's like he's kind of fun. He's kind of sassy.
Yeah. I love the sass. I put a like sentient ship was not on my bingo card for this book. That's what I wrote down in my notes. Cause I was like, the ship speaks. Say less. I love this.
Honestly, when he flew in at the end with what's his name? Cobb, I was like, this is everything I needed. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely epic. It was so funny, like, looking back at my notes, where I was like, the fact that, like, they're just throwing these pilots in, like, day 1 into an actual battle, I was like, that's so stupid. You can't expect me to believe that they would actually do that. And then as the book progressed and the politics kind of came into play and, like, the whole situation, I was like, oh, no, that checks out. And Ironsides? Ironside? Yeah. She can kindly go walk off a cliff.
No, honestly. We kept getting like the interludes from her POV. I was like, I don't care about this woman. Get her off the page. Gosh. I didn't want her POV.
Oh my god. And the fact that like I keep wanting to say Vivi because I'm reading the X-Hex right now. What is the main character's name? I literally forgot it. Thank you. I literally like overridden with Vivi. I was like, that's definitely not the name. Yeah. Anyways, whenever like Spensa was in like the final battle, like final action scene, like trying to save Atla, it was like the spare, or not the spare, the defect.
Yeah. The defect.
The spare, I don't know where that came from. The defect. I'm like,
close enough.
Put some respect on Spespa's name right now.
Honestly, like she's.
Oh my god.
Nothing brings me more rage than her, frankly.
Like, what did she do? Stand back safely, honestly, looking at the holograms?
She seemed like a really questionable leader. She just said, like, she got them all into this situation. Then Spencer's coming, save the day. And she still is not, she's not appreciating what has been given to her. I hope she dies in the subsequent books.
Me too.
Okay, don't disrespect Doomslug like this. I love that little thing.
I thought it was goofy as well.
I liked it.
Someone said I really thought that Cobb was Mbot's OG pilot for a minute at the end. I had that brief thought as well, and then I was like, Cobb can't be like 170 something years old. Like,
Do you imagine they just like introduce immortal characters into this series?
maybe he was put in a cryo freeze something. You don't know.
It is sci-fi. Doing sci-fi things.
Doing that sci-fi thing that sci-fi things do.
That old sci-fi thing. Jerkface was a bit of an icky nickname. Yeah, I didn't like that they called him Jerkface. That felt very juvenile.
That felt very, yeah, definitely. Which is why I think it took me a little bit to get into. Every time that name was put up, I'm like, man.
Like, maybe like once. Maybe twice. But like to make it his call sign, I was like,
That is so accurate. I hate that nickname in Fourth Wing. Oh,
honestly, I mean, I don't like it, but it doesn't really like bother me that much. I kind of just gloss over it. I don't have a visceral reaction to it.
It definitely annoys me actively every time I see it. I'm like, this is what we came up with.
See, I just like, if I see something like that in a book, I just casually ignore it. Because I'm like, just pretend that the author didn't put that there.
Fair. What did we think of the reveal about Spin's father?
I thought it was interesting.
I had a theory that like he might have like ejected, but they kind of like faked his death just to like smear his name for some reason. But I was not expecting him to like murder his own flight mates. Like that was not something that I had expected.
No, I think it definitely took me off guard. I hadn't really formulated any theories. Because, you know, where's the fun in that? I'm kidding. But I was not expecting that. And I wasn't expecting there to, like, actually be a defect. I thought it was going to be some propaganda. Some government propaganda.
Yeah, I didn't either. I mean, we were kind of introduced to the fact that, like, Spin was weird. And, like...
She's weird. She's quirky, and she's not like other pilots.
She's not like the other girlies. But I thought that was just, like, her being weird. And her grandma being weird and raising her weird with, like, the eyes and the voices and hearing the stars. I'm like, okay, Gran. Okay.
Like, we get it. You're old and crazy.
But I'm curious to see what they kind of, in later books, describe, like, the defect as. Like, why does Spin have this? What's going on?
Yeah. Man, there was something I was going to ask, but I forgot what it was. I need a second to think. Oh, right. What do we think about her eating rats? Because I thought it was disgusting.
I mean, yeah. But the fact that they all live in caves, I'm like, okay, you got to get used to what you have. I feel like it's a normal thing.
I mean,
like,
good on her for adapting, I guess. But when she started talking about rat jerky, I was like, no.
I think just because I pictured like this planet as more like less of a like more sci-fi, more like, you know, beaten down planet with like little space stations and like cave stuff. I'm like, okay. That didn't really weird me out too much. Other than like the intro when she was like, it's kind of hard to carry like 8 rats, and I'm like, ooh. You know, you can talk about rat jerky all you want, but the second you're talking about 8 dead rats, just
holding them all by their tails.
Like a little rat bouquet.
Choose to ignore. Yeah. Absolutely feral.
Truly.
Okay, to everybody who's saying at least she had food to eat, be quiet. Be disgusted with me.
I feel like it's just like not a lot of meat on rats, though.
Yeah. They're kind of like...
I feel like to get a good chunk of meat. You'd have to have a lot of them.
And one of the other books I just read, somebody was also eating something pertaining to rats, so it was like a theme. I don't like that.
'Tis the season for the rat eaters to emerge.
Tag yourself, I'm the rat eater. Oh yeah, maybe they had big ass space rats. Who knows? Those genetically advanced space rats.
Like the rats from the Princess Bride. Those like massive
I've never seen
forest creatures.
Seems like a crime. Yeah.
You of all people, I would not have pegged like you not seeing that movie so far. Or so far? You know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I assume they just be really chunky rats.
Yeah, I guess so.
I love all the rat talk.
Just something that it just really stuck out to me.
Oh, did y'all's book have like drawings?
Oh, for every new part?
Yeah, the ships.
I was listening to the audiobook for like a decent chunk of this, so I think I missed a lot of them.
Look at that. They're like the crown and stuff.
Oh. This thing looks like a jellyfish.
Yeah. Like a little from the top view. Or from the side, they're like the flat ship.
Oh.
It was pretty cool. I enjoyed that. I love a good visual. I love a good picture in my novel.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool because then I could actually imagine like what the ships were supposed to be looking like here.
See, I missed
just,
that.
Like, generic Star Wars ship.
I don't even know how I imagined the ships to look, to be honest, but it wasn't like that. The rats run that city. You move on from the rat talk.
Says the person who brought it up.
Well, it just stuck out to me.
It's the rats.
The rats. What did we think of the like just characters in general? Like what do we think of Spence as a main character? Because she got on my nerves for a large chunk of this book.
I think just coming to terms that she was 17 helped me not get as annoyed. But she definitely had her moments where I was like, girl, why?
I feel like she needs to learn when to stop talking. And then
honestly, I think oh my gosh, all the character names have left my head. Their flight leader, the one they call Jerkface, whatever
Jorgen?
his Jorgen, yes. Oh my god, because I hated his name as well. No offense to the Jorgens out there, but like it's just like a I don't know, Jorgen.
Whenever
it sounds kind of like jargon.
I think whenever I think of Jorgen, I think of Jorgen von Strangle from Fairly Odd Parents. He's like this really like buff fairy.
Oh my gosh. But I think his character I really want to see more of in terms of like does he rebel against his parents? Does he like become more like Spin? I think that would be really cool to see happen. Yeah. I thought they were setting up for that and then not really. It is really interesting though. This society sucks.
Yeah.
Like this is like the worst like developed society in a book that I've read about. That like no.
Who told them to act like that?
Honestly, like money talks and they're just like killing young children by throwing them into battles untrained. And then they're pulling out the good pilots because they're high in rank in terms of like family connections. I'm like, oh, okay.
Like, honestly, why do they think they haven't left their planet yet? Like, it's their own damn fault for pulling out all their good pilots. What's the point of even like letting them train prior to flight school if they're just gonna be pulled out?
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, just throw all of the all the people that took the test. Just why not just put them in the pilot seat?
Yeah,
what's about the amount of training that you gave the pilot groups when they first. I'm like, yeah, it made me so mad, the fact that like they talked about how many times that everyone like crashed like straight away in the simulator, and how much more difficult it was. And there's only like a few of them that like really got it, and they were like the rich kids. And then they're like, okay, there's an attack, everyone to a ship. And I'm like, you're so low on ships right now, and you're gonna throw untrained pilots in the cockpit? And then you're like,
it makes sense.
Where are all my ships? All my ships are gone because all my pilots keep dying because I'm barely giving them any training.
It's just Ironsides facing the consequences of her own actions this entire book.
Literally.
I was like, really sucks to suck. Gosh. Maybe be better. Wild concept. Just trying not to get attached to the characters for fear of them dying. It was pretty brutal.
I should have known better, honestly. It's Brandon Sanderson.
Yeah, but this was the first book in a series.
True. I just the fact that it was YA, that I was like, oh, they're safe. It's just gonna be a fun, silly goof, like pew pew spaceship time. And then it was like, and then when they like went all the way out to Hurl's crush site and did like a funeral for her, I was like, you're making these characters see a dead body?
The trauma that they are going through when they're so young.
Honestly. I was just not expecting it.
Glad Rig got a bit of recognition at the end. Yeah, respect to Rig. Honestly. True icon. Engineering icon.
Rig is one of those characters that I really liked, and I don't know why, because we barely like got any like screen time of him. But he was definitely one of my favorites. Every time he was on the page, I was like, yes. And then when he was like bantering with the spaceship, I was like, absolutely. I love a good smart character.
Yeah. He was just like an endearing character as well, I feel.
The only romance that I want in this book is him getting FM.
Yeah, honestly.
Yes. Shoot your shot, Rig. You got this.
Shoot your shot.
But other than that, I don't want any other romance.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they might set up like Vespa and Jorgen. I feel like that might be set up as romance, but I hope it's more of just like a friendship and respect type of thing. But I don't know. We'll see what happens.
I feel like I'm not convinced Brandon Sanderson can really write romance that I would enjoy that much, but I'd like to see him try.
A romance in this book?
Yeah.
Or just his books in general?
Maybe this one.
Yeah.
I'm not like that invested in it, but if it happened, I want to be like, oh God, no.
Stop it. I'm done.
Like, no, that's a spoiler. I'm not going to say anything. Not for this book, for a different Brandon Sanderson book.
Are you thinking about Mistborn?
Yes.
Okay. I loved that romance.
Yeah. It's like, if there's something like that, I might be like, it's not that bad.
Yeah. But I like it as a subplot. And I feel like Brandon Sanderson is never going to have romance as a main plot.
Oh, no. I feel like it was definitely...
I thought he was trying. I really thought he was trying with Bim. And I'm like, if this is how you write romance, stop. Get it off the page.
Don't do that. Do we have more things we want to talk about?
I am looking at my notes here.
I have no notes, so I'm just kind of just going off my head as usual.
I think it was interesting, like, as I was reading this, I was, like, kind of enjoying it, kind of getting into it. I'm like, okay, I'm liking this, but, like, there's nothing about this series that, like, or about this book that's going to make me want to, like, actually continue the series.
Mm-hmm.
And then the ending happened, and I was like, well, damn. Now, like, my curiosity is piqued, like, just enough that I want to. Oh, yeah. I was not expecting Spin not to graduate. How did we feel about that?
Ooh, I did not expect that either, and I was pissed on her behalf. But I was like, also, there's no way she's not about to join this fight. So I
Yeah.
wasn't too concerned about it.
It just really solidified my hatred for Ironside.
Yeah, honestly. Screw
All
that
like
woman.
adults in this series absolutely sucked. Especially like whenever Spin found out like the very beginning that they kind of were like rigging the test where she couldn't pass. That I'm like, you neglected to tell someone for 10 years that their dream is not going to become a reality. Ever. Because like what a waste of like potential, right? If you convinced her to change her mind while she was younger, she could have like studied and worked towards something else and been really good in like a different category of work. But instead you let her study so hard for 10 years. And then she found out that she wasn't going to ever get into flight school, which she technically wouldn't have if Cobb didn't, feel guilty about murdering her father.
I just feel like the anger that they have towards her is very misplaced. Because, like, it's not her fault. It's hardly her dad's fault that it happened because of this stupid defect. So, like, you could at least treat her with some respect. Please tell her respectfully.
Like, just another reason why I hate the society of, like, the rich people's kids are given automatic entry because of what their parents did. So it's like the same standard, just like opposite sides of the coin.
Yeah.
This society sucks.
Freaking.
And then like her mom and grandma also being punished and not being able to like work proper jobs as well because of what.
Exactly.
Like, that doesn't make sense.
Like, at least, maybe her grandmother has the defect, but like her mom doesn't have the defect. Why is she being punished?
Literally. It's like she wasn't like she married the guy.
Think she knew? That's just dumb.
Literally. It's like there's no conspiracy here. There was no conspiring. Yeah, circling back, the reason why Spencer couldn't graduate was absolutely so stupid. Especially consider, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Because I'm like, okay, maybe they want to train their pilots to where like they try to like save the ship. Less about their lives, more about like saving the ship. So if they eject, like there's no chance of saving the ship because they're like low on ships. Yeah. But the fact that they're like putting these pilots in day one of training, I'm like, okay, well it can't be the ships that you're worried about. It's some absolute, yeah. I'm glad that Cobb was like against the whole don't eject thing. But then it was interesting how the characters like didn't. Her was like, nope, we're good. Just gonna crash.
Yeah, that was just stupid.
I'm not cut out for this world, let me tell you what. I'd be like, well, eject, goodbye.
See, I simply wouldn't try and become a pilot in the first place. I know I'm not built for that life.
I would love to like fly something though.
I mean, it would be pretty sick. Fun. But I don't think
I just couldn't handle the responsibility.
No.
Especially when they're talking about like scouting and having to like keep focus and stuff. I'm like, there's no way. I can't stay focused for like long periods of time.
See, when I was reading that, I was like, I could do that. Like that could be me. I'll get my little audiobook going. Watch out for things on the horizon.
Oh my gosh. If she had graduated, the re-entry wouldn't have been as cool. That is true. She would have been sent with the rest of the flights, being a recent graduate.
Yeah.
But when it switched over to Ironside's POV being like, that's that problem taken care of,
I was like, screw you.
I will fight you.
And the fact that like she just sits like, in her little protected area just like watching the things happen, I was like, get out there. Get in a plane, bitch, and go kill something. Instead of sitting there and feeling, so self-righteous.
Honestly.
Do you guys support Hurls ejecting for bravery? I cannot.
She didn't eject, though.
Yeah. Well, I don't support her not ejecting.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. It was interesting though, because when Spin and Jorgen had like gone up to the ship, like she had almost successfully landed it without like killing herself. So it was interesting on that part, but I don't agree that like saving a ship is like more important than, I don't know, like saving your own life.
Yeah. Especially considering they're solo on pilots.
Yeah.
Why would you want to, that's just like shame people into sacrificing themselves, essentially.
I mean, they're low on pilots, but they're also low on ships. Like, they don't have enough ships anymore either.
Like, what if they just built more? There we go. I solved
Yeah.
the problem. No issues with that at all.
Spin stealing car parts was kind of funny. Oh my, I love when she was just so pissed at Jorgen. She saw his car and was like, fucking taking parts out of this shit. And then when Reagan's like, I don't want to know where this came from, and Mbot's like, it came from here.
The whole dynamic of the three of them like working together to fix the ship was just like my favorite part of this book.
I love how the ship didn't like Rig. Like, it was so good.
You gotta have the witty, bantering side character. It's a necessity.
Got to.
Ooh, here's an important question. What would your call sign be?
Oh gosh. Did y'all read the acknowledgements?
Oh, I did. I thought that was so fun.
He acknowledged had like a call sign, and I thought that was so cute.
Yeah.
I think mine would probably be Chaos.
I think, I don't know, I saw somebody's call sign was Tombstone. I was like, that's kind of sick. I might just steal their call sign.
I'm pretty sure someone else was Chaos in this book, but I think that fits.
Yeah.
What about y'all?
Anybody know what their call sign would be?
It's a hard thing to like come up with off the top of your head.
Yeah. Because you're going to be stuck with this for the rest of your life, so choose carefully.
Yeah. And if you don't pick a name, we're going to just call you Jerkface.
You're telling me Jorgen couldn't have come up with a better call sign?
The fact that, like, he automatically got admission and, like, he was probably already going down this path because he said that he wanted to, like, why didn't he just come up with a call sign, like, years prior? Like,
he had, like, 17 years to come up with one.
Literally.
Really shows the lack of creativity and innovation.
Honestly. Especially from his character, though. It kind of checks out, though.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Yeah. I really thought they were going to, like, have that nickname stick, and then at the end, like, some big battle was going to happen, and, like, they're going to finally respect Jorgen and, like, call him by something else. But that never happened. He's still Jerkface. I was like, oh, okay.
Like, I don't like it, but it is, like, a little bit funny.
Yeah. It's, like, it hasn't, like, grown on me, but I'm, like, used to it now.
Yeah.
That doesn't, like, take me out from, like, this damn YA book.
Damn YA sci-fi.
Oh, my gosh. Well, do we have any other final thoughts here?
Nobody wants to come up with a call sign. You guys are okay. Someone came up with a call sign. I was about to start roasting you guys for not coming up with call signs. Go with Bird since my name is Robin. That's cute.
Oh, that's cute.
Barry because my name is Barry in my language. That's nice. Call sign
creative.
Call sign Bird.
Call sign Barry.
I think it shows his growth as a character that it doesn't affect him as it did before. I guess that's true. Good character development for Jorgen. Not caring.
I think we do respect him a little bit more too, though.
Yeah. I mean, at first, obviously, I hated him, but that's the point, so.
Yeah. Yeah, it was really interesting, too, because when he was, like, immediately appointed, like, flight leader, and, like, the two, like, the wing,
his lackeys,
whatever it's called, like, immediately Cobb was like, okay, cool. And when, like, Spin, like, threw a fit about that, I really was like, oh, like, maybe she's gonna, like, work and, like, earn her way to that position or something. But then Cobb was like, bitch, they actually have flight hours. How many do you have? That's what I thought.
I was like, put her in her place. Like, honestly deserved.
I needed that. Like, I needed that because she was kind of annoying in the beginning. Like, very. I mean, not necessarily entitled. She definitely like worked for everything, but then like when she got in, she was. I'm really glad that she wasn't the best. Like straight away,
that
it kind of
really...
like finally clicked for her.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, her like sucking, I was like, yes.
Bonfire would be mine. I like that one. That's a fun call sign.
That is really fun. Later, they did call him by his name instead of jerk face. It would have been awkward if the older pilots had to call him that. I guess it's true. But there was like that one really famous pilot that was like Breakwind or something, like ridiculous. Something very YA. I was like, okay.
I think I missed that part. Darn.
I love Hurl's call sign. It was just.
What was it?
Hurl.
Oh. Oh, right. I don't know why I was thinking
that was her real name.
Her actual name. Call sign Hurl.
Call sign Hurl. And she wasn't even the one that actually threw up.
I
wasn't expecting Rig to drop out like straight away, but I'm kind of glad he did.
Yeah, I feel like it just makes more sense for like what his character ended up being. Also, they needed him to work on the ship, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. It would have been a waste of his brain.
Agreed.
I feel like the smartest people do not need to be in like wars where they keep murdering children, you know?
Yeah. I don't think Rig was built for that life anyway.
No.
Although I kind of wish they would have done it a little bit later into the book almost. I feel like it was too soon.
Yeah. I don't know. I think because like they killed characters like next battle. So if they did wait, I think that would have traumatized Rig a little bit more. But, you know. Or they didn't kill people in the first battle, right?
I don't remember. There's so much death in this book. It's all run together.
I think it was the second one. Yeah. Yeah. It was the second one.
Well, I think that might be it. Is that all we have to say?
I think our best discussion in a while.
I think so. Sometimes when we get off these lives, I'm like, it could have been better. It could have been better. But this one I think was pretty good.
I think y'all were absolutely helping us keep the conversation going as well. Because sometimes when we're like talking and it's like, it's a little dry. We only have so many thoughts.
Like, please help us. But you guys were great. So thank you.
I especially love the segment about the rats. That was good. Really kept the convo going. The rat talk.
The rat chat, if you will.
The rat chat. Thanks for being here live during the rat chat. Appreciate it. Our next month's book is already announced as God Killer by Hannah Kaner. And we'll be discussing that end of November.
On my channel.
On Candy's channel. That is correct. All right. Everyone have a lovely rest of their day or night or morning.
Whatever time it is for you.
Going to go get my butt kicked at jiu-jitsu now.
I'm going to go read for like 12 hours.
Ooh, oh yeah, happy Vampathon for those who are
participating in Vampathon. Hope it's going well.
Ooh.
And
see you later.
Bye.
Bye.